welcome to Being a Woman. Firstly, I would like to thank everybody for the immense support till now. The main motive of being a woman is to empower, inspire and motivate them to aspire more in life. I thought that it would be even more interesting and informative if we get to know about the real-time stories about experienced, successful women across. So that way we are going to meet a superwoman who has been a pioneer in education field since 1981. For the past 3 decades, she's been offering excellent education, being a school director. She never fails to impress us with her profound love for nature and the environment. She stands apart from any other women in that of being passionate for nature, from saving the resources and the ecosystems for the future generation. For her vision of conscious environment, she also inculcates the young minds about sustainable development by including them into the practices like farming, tree planting, using eco-friendly products and much more. She is being a living example to the students, society and the public that sustainable lifestyle is possible and sustainability is the future. And it's none other than Meena Sethu ma'am, who is the director of Golden Gates Matriculation School, Emerald Valley and the Earth School. The best part is this is the place, the same school where I grew up watching her grow and has been an inspiration since then. And today it's my privilege and honor that I got an opportunity to sit beside her and interview her for my channel. So let's go talk to her more and get to know about a lot of things. Hello ma'am. Firstly, thank you so much for spending the time with us without even thinking twice. It's been a fortunate experience for me to be interviewing you. Who has been an inspiration for me since kindergarten. So welcome to our channel and thank you so much for giving us the interview. So if you see from the past, it's been like from a house grown, a kindergarten to a massive structure, Golden Gates and Middle Valley and Golden Gates Earth School, and now with the Arkham Eco. How has been your journey, ma'am? And what is your inspiration and what drives you from there?
It's been a very fulfilling experience. If you ask me how the experience was. It wasn't that when I started, I had this plan that I had to start this and that. It just happened naturally. I would say it's mostly God's grace, people's support, and family support. And one thing led to another. Like when I started the preschool, I didn't think I'd start a school. And when I started the school, as the school grew, we needed a place, and so we built the buildings. And then since the school grew more, we had to build more buildings, and that is how Golden Gates Matriculation School came up. There was a demand for CBSE in the 2000 beginning, first decade. So we started Emerald Valley Public School. Again, it had very good response from parents. Fortunately, we had a place nearby, so we put it there. And then in the last 10 years, if you see, there's been a steady decline in demand for matriculation. So we realized that the children's preference was elsewhere. So we made a conscious decision to close down an education school, and we started as a ABCSEs, Cambridge School, right from kindergarten. And so that again needed buildings, and we put it up. And I would say it was possible at every time because things just worked out. And I would like to say that the public support really played a very good role. And of course, God's grace.
So if you see, you just tell that everything happened and went on with the flow. So do you believe in the timing, or they say that you need a perfect time for a perfect thing to happen? So do you really have that belief in you that the time was, like possible for me, or it encouraged me to move forward.
True to a certain extent, because when I started the preschool, there was absolutely no idea about preschool here. In fact, parents were very reluctant to bring their children to school for a preschool. 2 to 3 years were never allowed to step out of the house. So we had to really go and request parents to put their children in the first year. And it was the right timing because ours was the first preschool, and soon after other preschools also came. And then matriculation school, of course, the difference between my school and others in those days itself was like, we didn't believe in just sticking to age-old practices. We tried out a lot of new things and new ideas. Some worked out, some didn't, and we were, I would say we were the trendsetters in things like celebrating public festivals in school and celebrating special days and all that. So it went on like that, and I would say the time was perfect when I started the CBSE school. Till then, nobody wanted CBSE, the demand was just growing. And when we announced in September that we were going to have a school and we had entrance exams, I would say we got the cream of Salem joined us in England. Soon after us, though a bit late, many other schools did start CBSE. Some started in the same academic year and all that, but we had already stepped in earlier. And when I decided to close down matriculation school, it was a very emotional decision. Even not so for me, but for my teachers, and the principal and all that. They were all very upset about it. They knew that the demand was getting less, but then it was an emotional attachment. But then we couldn't just ruin the name of the school for emotional reasons. So I took the decision. It was a tough decision, and I'm so happy I did it. And it was the right time to have started the course. Maybe like I don't know whether I was smart or whether the timing was right when I made the decision. But in all things, it worked out right.
And when you're talking about, you told that there was an emotional connect to the teachers as well. So I could see when I was studying, I still see, teachers working around with the same enthusiasm and the connect. So this is only possible when the work culture is excellent and when, the employee really likes it. So these days in this generation, there's been, like a lot of myths and, beliefs about the working culture, that it stresses you a lot. If you see an IT company, people say we go under psychiatric treatment because we undergo so much pressure. So how had you handled that? And I could see happily people working here because without, there will be pressures at any point, but we can see still they are, in this school, even if it is like Golden Gates or Emerald Valley or the Earth School. So I could say when I see, I was like rewinding my days and really cherishing it, saying to my friends. So it's like so happy to see, some people still working over here with that empowerment and the same enthusiasm, which is like a win. So how do you see that, ma'am? And what is your...
What you're saying is true. So, most of the teachers who come here when they're unmarried, we've seen them getting married, we've seen them having their children, we've seen them bringing their children to school, and then they pass out of school, they get settled in life, they get married, then they've had grandchildren, and they're due for retirement, or they've already retired. A few of them are retiring. So it's been a happy journey for them and a very happy time for us to have happy with us. Yes, they are happy in school. I would say my teachers are very good teachers. And it's compared to IT, teaching is not that stressful a job, though it's a very demanding job. And they are very, as you say, attached to the school and the children. And they made good friends here. And on my part, I think we do not have any harsh rules for their teachers as such. Like we do not ask them to sign the bond, or if they want to leave, we do not create any problems for them. They're just happy if they get better opportunities. And another thing is probably, I don't know for sure, But in this region, I think the remuneration is the best in our school. Because in fact, we are revising it further because we feel that teaching has been a very undervalued work, and that is where we need the best talent. The best talent has to be taken care of.
True. So not only with the teachers, but I could see so many, people who are not well-to-do, even with the cleaners, the supervisors. You give them the free education. Also, I'm not sure about it, but still I have knowledge about that because my supervisors when I traveled in the van, in the bus. So they used to tell, we have the free education over here for our children. Also, that is wonderful, ma'am. So if it is for the true fact,
See, what we do is when we have the kindergarten admissions, all those who have eligible children bring them to school and we admit them. And for our staff children, it is free. And if they bring the second child, we charge them 50%. But there are some people who already put their children in other schools, and we may not be able to admit them in between. So what we do is, on a yearly basis, we give them some money towards the payment of the fees for college fees. Because we've been doing our bit to the schools around the Vandapanayakambadi and Kanavurti schools. Yeah. So while we are doing for education around our school, I think it's just right that we do it for our own people first. Anyway, we should have intentions to help education. We start with home.
That's great, ma'am. Actually, if you see, when talking about sustainability, even when I was studying, it's been a decade or so that I was, studying here. So from that age, you just inculcated in us that, this sustainability, the future is about sustainability, and it is the major part, and we have to take the steps in order to, to save our environment and the ecosystems. So it's like you have been an inspiration to all of the people in and around Salem, ma'am. So, yeah, you are, no doubt about that. So it's like, what is your drive on that, ma'am?
Drive is like anybody who's got sense, anybody with common sense would have the same drive, should have the same drive. All the more reason if you have children, all the more reason if you have grandchildren, because I can live my life and go, the world will still be not that bad. But my children are going to live in a more difficult world. Surely my grandchildren are going to find it very difficult to live in this world. At the rate it is going, I doubt whether my great-grandchildren will even ever see an elephant. They will become extinct by then from what I can see. Every day you find elephants dying, and the way the waterways are disappearing, waterways are being polluted. We have to be heavily dependent on unnecessary and highly expensive technologies to get our basic things which are free now. Like we have to manufacture oxygen, we have to desalinate water. When God is doing it free to us, we take it for granted or we don't even give it the due respect, we are wasting it. And then what is the point of saying we can always make water from some water and that's not the way we have to look at it. The trees are there to give you such good quality oxygen. We all realize the importance of oxygen and the crisis now during COVID. So I think anybody who wants a future for themselves and for their generations will have to have that truth. And shocked and surprised but people don't have it. You shouldn't be surprised that I have the drug. I'm surprised people don't have that.
True. So if it is like, do you have plans on, widening it worldwide, or is it only the place which you're staying or you belong to?
I have a limited influence.
Yeah, true.
I'm at least fortunate I have a school where I can influence at least from thousands of students every year. And the students can take it to their parents. And I wish I was that powerful that I could take it all around the world. But there are so many people working. Now it's not just me, there are millions of people who are working for creating awareness, for bringing down this climate change and all that. But there is something in this world which is stopping all that. That's greed. The only reason why we are losing out on environment is greed. The corporate greed, personal greed, everything amounts to wanting to exploit. So it's a very sad state of affairs, and I would like to at least widen my circle of influence a little bit if possible. We are working on it.
So is that Arkham Eco is one among those?
I feel Arkham Eco, like it was a very small scale thing, though we wanted to do it very seriously. During COVID, without the children and with all my non-teaching staff available, we thought we will take some more steps to perfect what we were doing. We were making all these eco products, but we were not very particular. In fact, we were very particular that it should be packed in newspaper bags and without any spending anything on the labels. But we realized that if we want to take it to the people, they're not going to appreciate something which is packed in a newspaper thing. It wasn't appealing. We had to do both. We had to make sure that our packing is eco-friendly, plus it should be appealing to the and we also added more ingredients to our products, made them better. So that is what we did during the COVID. And one by one we tried. We had the rooms, so we tried with waste and scrap and even water hyacinth. So they worked out well, and now we are doing a lot of small bags and stuff from waste, which we collect from tailoring shops and furnishing shops. They have all these sample furnishing buckets which we can make touches and bags. So we do not want to invest on new material, and we are trying to reuse waste and make very attractive pieces. And we are trying to build a brand name for Arkham. Though it is from waste, we would like to have a very high quality. So this, now when the students have come back, we've been teaching them all these things, like palm leaf, parrots and tortoises and all that. So they are learning. And what I would like to really make them understand is, they could even make a living out of sustainable products. We are just introducing them to various things. They could easily do these eco products. We are teaching them how to make eco products, how to make these other things. It's not going to be difficult, it doesn't need much investment. And they can easily take it forward. And as such, we are able to give employment for some women around. They take it home and they do it. We have to widen our market, we have to really make it more. But we are able to make the children understand that sustainability can also be a profitable. Though we are not, right now we are not in a stage where we can make a profit with Arkham products because it's very limited. But if the children want to take it up on a large scale, they definitely will.
So if we can talk about, if you see any other schools in and around Salem or anywhere on earth, it's like, they give more importance, or the 100% importance goes to the academics. But here, even when I was doing my schooling over here, I could, see that there was equal balance, or there was more, guidance towards the extracurriculars. So how do you see that, ma'am? If you could see, there were some rules and regulations even in, like a decade ago. It was like, the girl should wear the two-plat telecom. So when I was studying, we did not have all of those. So it's like we had a free environment wherein, we can be, even if it is a co-education school, we have brought a thing that a man and women can be a good friend. So there wasn't any rules and restrictions on that case. We were very free till now. Like anybody, if you see even now, we have certain things that, certain stereotypical things about women and about many other things. But still, even we were forward then. So you were very forward when I was studying and when I saw you growing up.
So people, if they look at me, they would say like I'm a very conservative person. Yeah. I don't look like a modern woman. Yeah. I don't dress up like, and the way I dress or the way I talk may not be like a very modern woman. But I am very progressive in my thoughts. For progressive than most people who claim to be very modern, okay, because of my family background, where we had very liberal bringing. The thing is that you had asked for two things. Why isn't our school academic oriented, and why is that, and how we were able to bring that spirit in the school. If you see in any school, any class reunion, say after 20 years, and where all these children have gone after 20 years, you won't find the topper on the top position and the one on the bottom as a person. They're all almost like, there's no saying like your academic performance and your performance and life don't match. It all depends upon how smart you are, how your interpersonal relationships are, how your communication skills are, and how smart your thinking is. So that is what every school should actually try to promote. But I would also blame the parents, because they've also become so mark-oriented, and they think every child who's born should become a doctor or should become an engineer. We were, in a few years back, we were trying to give an alternate to all these coaching classes and all that, because children were moving into these specialized schools. We thought we would bring in our own youth and day coaching. But I found that I would never have the heart to keep the children till 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the evening, or make them work 17 hours a day. So naturally, like our children would be handicapped if they had to compete with those people. So around 3-4 years back, I made this conscious decision: our school is going to be a happy school. We're not going to have any of these coaching. So there was a doubt among teachers also at that time whether children will leave the school if we do not have any coaching, or whether they would like to move to one specialized schools. So I said, if they want to, it's their outlook if they want to go for any of these entrance classes. But we will not have the entrance classes in school. We'll complete school by 2:30 and let them go home, even if it's not a check. Yeah. So, and then we brought in humanities, and we brought in law and psychology and fashion designing and all that, which are actually courses where children are doing very well, and they're getting admission into very good universities after that. Humanities children are doing very well. Before it was only commerce, where you could become an accountant or go into law. Now we have a lot of interesting subjects, and children are also open to all these things, though not many parents are. So what I find now is those people who want to go for NEET or JEE coaching join our school for as a school, and they go and enroll themselves for extra coaching. And then it doesn't become my headache whether they work 8 hours or 10 hours. It's their like or dislike. So in school, after 2:30 to 3:30, there are so many of my 11th and 12th standard right now who are engaged in all the games. We give them the opportunity to play lots of games between 2:30 and 3:30 as an option, and many of them do take it up. And if a child studies for 6 hours at school, plays for 2 hours and then goes home, I'm sure the child will be able to work better than working for 8 hours in school and writing 2 tests and going back to another coaching class. So I think it's worked out well for me.
Yeah, I would say it was a good balance between the academics and the family, spending time with family, which is very important. So yeah, that was a great take. Like either it is like a LKG student or a 12th grade student. It's like you go home by 3 o'clock and spend time or take rest yourself. So that I feel that is one of the greatest things that if we could see any of the governments or any of the schools, they work till 4:30, 3:30. So yeah, that has made a great change in the the pressure is lightened to the students, as you say. So that is wonderful, man. So talking about all the developments, we are in an era where sex education is very important to the generation right now, and the need of the heart, if I could say. So, is that being taken care or in the school, or do you encourage sex education, and do you have anything that programs that you take?
We do not have anything specific as sex education, and maybe not that children are not informed about it, they might be having some misinformation.
Okay.
We have a counselor in school
Okay.
who is there available for all these children. The children can go talk to her about everything. We have a sexual harassment committee in school, and our children are members in that. And they are very, and we do have classes right from kindergarten on good touch and laptop. And as the classes progresses, the counselor goes for these classes, every class she has. She educates them on proper behavior.
So it's been a
do's and don'ts,
lifestyle.
do's and don'ts. We don't have anything as sexual.
Okay, sure.
But it's been taken care of in other forms.
That's great, ma'am. So, yeah, so that's what it is. Then I would like to know more about the art from eco, and which is like entirely a different domain from the education. So, how do you see it as, or what do you, what was the
reason
push?
why.
Yeah.
No, see, we were always eco-conscious, and over the years we have evolved. Initially, we didn't know much about environment. In fact, we were using a lot of plastic, and we thought it was fancy. But we were planting trees. That was the first thing we started with, and we were planting a lot of trees. And then it was in the beginning of this century, that is, in the 2005, 2004, 2005, we started thinking more and more about environment. Our understanding became better. We stopped using plastic. And we changed everything from plastic to something biodegradable, whether it is utensils or lunch bags and bags, and even filing. We didn't use plastic anymore. And there's no plastic allowed inside the school. So it was at that level. And in 2008, we started something called Seven Citizens for Citizens Together, and we took up some courses, like they were bringing down the old building of which had a fire accident in Ishwar. It was around the compound, where the compound wall was meant to be. They built some buildings. It was used to be very bad. They had a fire accident and it was brought down. And I took it up as a course to not allow them to build again, but instead have another one. We were partly successful. Half of it we went and we garnered a lot of public support. We took our students, we took our teachers and all that. We were able to stop them from building around that, but then there was another place, another one, which they converted into a commercial complex which we were not able to stop. It's still there today, you can see. So these kind of activities, when we started getting involved in, then we came across this Mokaneri, which was in a very bad state. And then we took it up, and at that time the collector was very responsive. We took it up with a lot of children's participation. We were able to bring it up. So that brought us into the realm of reviving and restoration, and we went for public space cleaning and all that. Tree planting we took up on a larger scale also. Then we decided this is sustainability is something which we should focus on, and we thought of starting some center where we will do a lot of research on alternate and sustainable development. Development should be there.
Yeah.
See, everybody says, why you don't want development, don't you want power, don't you want this, why are you against all these things? We need it. But if you want power, I would rather go for a wind energy or a solar energy than an atomic energy or like a coal-based thermal. So these kind of things we have to think about, educate the children and all that. So we try to have a model of a coal-based generator also. It was a failure because we didn't get the right model. But we have been doing this biogas. All our kitchen waste becomes gas, and it's fruits that for every day we get half a cylinder worth of gas from our waste.
Yeah.
So
That was, even when I was studying it.
So all the children deposit their waste in a bin, and then that goes into the bin. So these things are working practices. Now, from 1 to 5, we made our own social studies books in which there's one big lesson on environment. All these practices, zero waste. Then we also came across on Mr. Nirmal of ex-Nora, who taught us about zero waste and segregation of garbage. So that we've been doing for a long time also. So all these things we wanted to really document and work on it and all that. Like we have machines to make Pakamata plates that people make already, but we tried with our other leaves with paper underneath. It's come out well. So these kind of things, but it's all in experimental stages. That one is still, we haven't perfected it. So these kind of things we want to invest in, do a little bit of research and perfect it. So later on the children can do it, and we are looking for people who could come and contribute also. During this, we were able to perfect ourselves in certain areas. I mean, not perfect, develop ourselves in certain areas. So there's a lot we can do. And along with that, Arkham also takes care of the environment outside. So we set aside a certain amount of funds, say around 25 lakhs to 30 lakhs every year, towards conservation and towards all these kind of things. So we are able to do something meaningful. And the store is just an experimental store just to showcase the things what we would can do with kids. People would be very surprised that they are all from scrap, which nobody wants.
Yeah.
So then that way we use less resources and we recycle.
Also about the empowerment and the employment.
Employment, of course. We would like to make it a little bigger, provided we are market is good, but we are not very good at marketing. So right now we have been able to employ around 6 or 7 women.
I think you do it really well, ma'am. I used to follow.
No, but then it's not reach that many people.
That
of course, with the parents coming, now we are having better response for our products. They are coming to school, so they are able to see it.
So talking about this COVID, so if we could see, like e-learning has become a major part on the education field. So if you could see, was it really challenging for you or the kids?
Initially, yes, we were very baffled by what we were doing. That was when we closed down. We had to close down school suddenly in February and March.
Yeah.
We didn't know how to go about it. Anyway, that year the classes we suspended. And so, but before we knew that it's going to be the norm the next year, we just started off with experimenting with online classes. The teachers were all completely new. Some of them were not even used to a computer. So we used that April and May to familiarize people with the gadgets and all that. And we started the classes actually for the higher classes online. And then in June, when we realized it was going to be online, we took some time, maybe 1 or 2 months to perfect that. And we've been improving on it every day, every month. Like whatever you do, it's no substitute for real classes. But we were able to stimulate a classroom like in lower classes we divided them into 7 groups, so that no class had more than 10. So the teacher was able to interact with them. And in higher classes, when it came to 2 classes, we divided them into 2 sections. And higher classes, of course, our strength it's only around 32. So we were able to, and then we have these breakout rooms where we can give them a topic for discussion, and they all go into their own areas and they discuss, and the teacher can visit each room. And they have a lot of things like movies and things like that. Parents were also able to benefit. We had very good innings in this thing. I think there has been no learning gap, except that the children have been able to write less. Other than that, I think.
So was it a win or was it really challenging?
It was a challenging thing, and I think we did quite well. But I think we had enough. I'm so happy that we didn't have to continue with it. But in spite of we have to continue.
So is there anything that you could, you have felt that I could be, done this or something, better for the students and the environment?
Okay. I don't know. Environment, we are trying our best. Coming to students, I would say my students are all very smart. They are reasonably very good in studies. They excel in all arts and crafts, and they're bold and they do well wherever they go. They get placed in good universities, and they are all placed well in life. They're all learning well, and they're bold. They're outspoken. They have good English. So many things I can feel proud of. But now looking at many of my students, the big anxiety for me is: have I failed in inspiring them to put their family first? Now the new trend is myself first, my life, what I would like to do. But I do not want to bend. I do not want to be flexible. I just want to be myself, and I want to do. Now, it is okay if a person, a boy or a girl, would like to remain single and doesn't want to have family commitments, to think like that. Even then, there is a family. The family has got parents, grandparents, cousins, extended family, and all that.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time, and it's been great knowing more about the environment, the sustainability, and your mindfulness in our lives. So I hope, as you say, there's betterment in the environment and the people's mind and the students. Hopefully we get inspired from your personal life too. So thank you so much for the opportunity, ma'am. So yeah,
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to express my views. Thank you.
thank you.